of something that may take place to you in your life before it takes place. So really, you're kind of guessing. So really, fear is actually totally unwarranted. But that doesn't mean you're not going to have fear, does it? We're all frightened. But fear really is an unrealistic thing taking place in your body. But at the same time, of course, fear is one of those natural things built into our DNA, which tells us, you are being warned, take some action. So we went riding on these horses, we did all that stuff, and oh man, it was mental. It was the most mental thing I've ever done in my life, go to Ecuador, Colombia, and around the Amazon. And for me, what's exciting for me is it wasn't that long ago, I was still cutting hair in 2003 for a living. I was slogging my brains out. I had 3 salons. At that point, in 2003, I just had one big one, 2,000 square feet. And I was slogging my brains out. And I tell you, it was hard graft. In the last salon, I had 16 staff. And who here has a business on the high street? Anyone? Well, who here has a business? So you know what happens? You get the kind of dryish spells and you get the flush spells, which are great. And when we got a flush spell, we was like, right, loaded, let's do something special. Let's have a holiday, spend some cash. And suddenly when your VAT bill comes in, what happens? You've been there, right? I've been there. You've been there, right? Yeah? One or two of you nodding your head, you've been there. And you've no money for the VAT, you've no money for the pay-as-you-earn. And you think, nuts, I am totally stuffed. And I went through a cycle of this for absolutely years. Every quarter, £7,000 VAT bill had to be paid. Didn't have the money. Had to work our brains out to bring the cash in. Went overdue and overdue and overdue and overdue. The tax man would come into the salon and say, we need to speak to Mr. Forrest Smith. And the girl at reception said, well, he's busy at the moment. And I was busy. I was killing myself. I was literally killing myself, working my brains out 7 days a week so that I could pay all my staff at the end of the week. Because when there was never enough money, they got paid. I didn't. And I'd go to the front. The salon would be packed. And the guy from the Inland Revenue said, are you Mr. Forrest Smith? I said, yeah. He said, you know I was £17,000. Can you write us a cheque today? Now, I'm in a shop here with all my staff, and all the clients are going. And the guys do say to you, if you've been there, you see that white van over there? And I'm going, yeah. They're going, the guys in there are waiting to come in here and empty this business. When can you pay? The stress of going through that year after year was unbelievable. And that's what happened. And we were well off. We had a huge house. We had all the trappings, BMWs, flashy cars, and all the stuff. The irrelevant, meaningless stuff, which was nice at the time, but we had it. But it was a nightmare. And I thought to myself, how on earth am I going to change my life? Because the warning signs were this for me. The warning signs were, I'm going to have to face this every quarter, every year, annually, without fail. That I am going to be faced with taxmen kicking my door down, demanding huge amounts of cash. I was in a cycle, I couldn't get out of the cycle. My back was killing. Hairdressers, by their nature, have bad backs. I was getting to the stage where you like this all day, and on a Saturday we used to run what we call a double column. So normally when you go and get your hair done at the salon, the stylist has a column in the diary that gets filled in. When on a Saturday, because it's so busy, we had the #1 salon in the town, by the way, I'm proud to say, and I'll tell you how we did that, because it's interesting, because it was in the thick of a recession. We were on a double column. So by the end of Saturday, you like this all day, yeah, where you go? Oh, great, I love it. And every time you went in the staff room, you went, and you would drive home like that. And I used to get home on a Saturday, and in fact, I bought a big chair in the end, a wing-back chair I could rest my head on and put a neck pillow on. And I used to sit like that. And my tea used to be brought to me, and I used to go, and then on Sunday, it's back to the bookwork. Monday, and the cycle was relentless. So in the year 1999, I kind of discovered the internet, which I didn't really know anything about. But coincidentally, I'd never heard of something called a copywriter either. I knew nothing about something called marketing. And the only thing I knew about advertising is what the Yellow Pages would try and give me the hard selling when they came into the business. Apart from that, I knew nothing at all. The only book I'd read up until that point was Captain Scarlet and Jaws. Apart from that, I'd not read anything else. And there wasn't much need for protection against a great white shark in the middle of Lancashire, I can tell you. So, this is the way it was going. And I thought, the internet, all this is before the original .com bust. The internet, what can I do on the internet? Can I make money? These guys are making millions of pounds with a domain name. What's actually happening here? So I eventually got this book called Make Your Site Sell in 1999. And I devoured the book. And I thought, well, hang on, because this is one thing people don't know about the internet. If you do not understand how to generate traffic, now I don't mean people visiting your website, I mean pre-qualified buyers that are targeted, that are ready to spend money with you. If you do not generate traffic, you're not going to sell anything. You won't sell a thing. And sometimes people will say to me, we generate 10,000 people a month through our website. And when you ask that question they hate, which is, how much money are you taking? How much? And they go, oh well, nothing. No, we've not really mastered that yet. But we got the traffic coming in. But you see what happens here? Traffic and buyers are totally different. And one of the first things I learned online was how to do search engine optimization. So I started doing search engine optimization and getting paid for it in the office upstairs in the salon. That's how it began. But coincidentally, a guy who was an accountant came into the salon and said, who writes your advertising, Al? And I said, well, I write it myself. He said, oh, it's really good. He said, I've been writing advertising for a long time for this computer company I work with. And, I like the stuff you do. Could you create some stuff for us? And I'm thinking, is this guy serious? I thought you just sit down and scribble it down. And the truth was, I wasn't making anything up. I would just find an advert that I liked, it sold to me, and copy it. That's what I did. And I thought, well, I'll change that name to the salon name. I'll change some of the words in so it suits our business, etc., etc., etc. Then we'd throw it out there into the marketplace. So this guy came back to me. Excuse me. I spoke to the boss. He'll pay you 500 quid for writing him a sales letter. I thought, crikey, I've never even written a sales letter before. So I thought, I better go out and buy a book. And I bought a book called The Ultimate Sales Letter by a guy called Dan Kennedy. And I thought, oh, there's actually a structure to this. It works a certain way. There is such a thing as a headline. And body copy. I didn't know anything about body copy and the close and the trigger words and all the little magic elements that go into sales copy. I'd never heard of it. So I decided to start up a new website, which was called, I think it was called Big Forest, something like that. So I started a website called bigforest.com and started selling copywriting services. But I'd never done copywriting. Never even heard of copywriting. But I could do SEO, which meant I would be on the front page of Alta Vista and Yahoo at the time. There was no such thing as Google. And suddenly, I was getting people emailing me and phoning me up, saying, we're looking for somebody to write a sales letter. I think, crikey, I'm going to have to buy another book because I don't know what I'm doing here. So that's what I did. I bought another book on copywriting. I did some research on this stuff. And I managed to find a guy online who is a hugely respected copywriter in the world that I work in, a guy called Michael Fortin. So I contacted this guy in Canada and said, I'm a copywriter. Can I work with you? And he said, yeah. He just said, yeah. So he sent me a load of work the same day. He said, can you have this by tomorrow? I think, crikey, I've got about 5 clients booked in tomorrow. How am I going to be able to do this? So I did it overnight and I got paid $7,000 overnight. So it kind of spiraled from there, really. So I don't profess to be